what is the mindset of having to, I mean, it's a job of the backup quarterback, but you got to, like, at a moment's notice, come in a game like that in those conditions. How hard is that?
It's obviously difficult to be put in that situation, but that's something, it's pretty obvious when you're the second string quarterback that you're one play away. So when that play happens, all right, if you haven't been preparing for that, what have you been doing? So, I always probably, there's a lot of things that you can think about, when you go into a game, but I try to just focus on the little things, focus on my preparation, focus on, preparing like I'm the starter. And Daniel does a great job of helping me do that. Whether I'm 2 days ago, I'm at his house and we're studying the game plan, quizzing each other on the playbook and the defensive coverages that we can expect. And I really appreciate him, just taking me under his wing. We lived together for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season before I found a place. So he's just been great to me and my preparation that way. When I did go in like today, I wasn't, too much, out there.
Shane mentioned that he could have stayed in the locker room and kind of sold it, but he came back out there and was there for you guys. How much do you respect a guy like that? And do you expect that to be who he is in his nature? Yeah,
I mean, Daniel's the toughest guy that I've ever been around by far in my life. He's the most competitive person that I've ever met. So it's no surprise that, he came back out there to cheer us on. And I remember going over the sidelines, and he was just the first one to, put the raincoat on me, the first one to ask me, what I see on that play and help me out and what to expect on certain, situations. So it's just exactly who he is. Whether he's playing or not, he's very consistent, win or loss. So I really respect that about him.
What's the emotional difficulty of going in and making your first big set of plays in the NFL as a rookie quarterback, while also seeing a guy and a teammate that you're really, really close to going down with a tough injury like that?
Yeah, it's very difficult, but that's the nature of the game. Obviously, your first thought is to pray for Daniel and hope he's great, because that's not how you envision getting snaps, right? I always envision myself working and then developing into a starter that I earned, and whether I earned it or not is kind of irrelevant. Daniel went down and my turn was up, so it's super unfortunate to see that, but hopefully everything works out, and we'll be praying for him for sure.
Obviously, they might need a lot more in the next 4 weeks. What does today do to get your feet wet to help you for what's ahead?
I think the biggest thing today for me was just to, walk out to the sidelines and have guys like Quentin Nelson come up to me and say he believes in me. Everybody on the sideline was just, very supportive. So that's always good for a rookie quarterback who, went into the season as a third string. You start taking odds into the equation. There's a small probability that you play. Nevertheless, have the potential to start. So to have guys come up to me, really cool. It means a lot to me. Even after the game, after you're struggling in a few areas, guys still, say they believe in me. So take that and run with it.
You're stepping into a position where you are in the middle of like a AFC South race, middle of a playoff push. I guess how quickly do you have to maybe shift your mindset if you're going to be QB1 for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've never been in this situation before. Probably lean on guys that have. Maybe ask them how they handled it, but I really just lean on God. Something we've been talking about in Bible study is a Greek term. It's called kairos versus chronos. So kairos is God's timing. Chronos is when we think our timing should happen. And who am I to question, God and His timing for my life and my career? So I'll just lean on the chronos of this situation and trust in Him.